What if you were making a mistake when you spoke English, but didn't know it? And what if everyone around you was making the same mistake? How would you know to fix this mistake if no one knew that it was a mistake? Today, I want to tell you about one of the most common mistakes among English students in Kurdistan. And it might surprise you, because even the Kurdish to English dictionaries get this wrong. Let's get started. The mistake I want to tell you about today is the difference between bored and annoyed in English. Now, in the Kurdish English dictionaries, both of these very different English words are translated as bēzar bوون, but bored and annoyed, or boring and annoying, have very different meanings in English. To be annoyed is to be bothered by something, to have a low level of anger because of something. For example, maybe your neighbor's relatives keep taking your only parking spot. When we lived in Erbil, we lived in a 100-meter house, Khanui Sat Mitri, and we only had space for one car in front of our house. But every Friday, we would go out into the city to do some shopping for a few hours. And when we would come back, every time, the neighbor's relatives had come and parked their car in our one spot. When we saw this, we felt annoyed. In هەڵەی, it made us want to say, "Kudabi," and go nazanin tanha yek shwên heye bo sayara. But to be bored is a very different kind of feeling. When you are feeling bored, you don't find anything around you interesting. You are not angry at all. Instead, maybe you want to sleep because your situation is so boring, so uninteresting. For example, some teachers are very boring. When they teach, maybe they only read from a book, or maybe they only speak in one tone of voice the whole class long. And this makes their students very bored. Their students want to sleep, they want to do something else, they want to leave class. The students are bored because the teacher is boring. So, if you are annoyed, you are feeling bothered and a little angry. But if you are bored, you are feeling uninterested and maybe even like you want to go to sleep. We use these forms of these adjectives when we're talking about our own feelings, bored and annoyed. But when we are describing something else, it is boring or annoying. So, which should you use if your neighbor plays loud music late at night? Good. Annoying. Playing loud music late at night is annoying. What word should you use when you are just sitting and you have nothing to do? Good. Boring. Sitting and having nothing to do is boring. And remember, when talking about yourself, you should say, "I'm bored" or "I'm annoyed." Usually, I hear my students saying that they think something is boring, when they should be using the word annoying instead. When I ask them what they mean, they are trying to say bēzar bوون. How did this mistake come to be? Well, I see two possibilities. Maybe Kurdish people use this one word, bēzar bوون, for these two different ideas that English has two words for. Tell me in the comments if you think that bēzar bوون is a good translation for both annoyed and bored. But the second possibility is that some early Kurdish English dictionaries translated bēzar bوون as bored or boring, and students have been making this mistake because of that ever since. But now you know the difference between bored and annoyed, between boring and annoying, and now you can help others to stop making this common mistake. Until tomorrow, hata sabeni, khwa hafiz.